There has never been an instance where verbal and nonverbal communication has never been used in our day-to-day lives. Therefore, it is important to know the differences and similarities between the two.
In verbal communication, words can be used as symbols. Symbols are described in three characteristics. The first characteristics are that it is arbitrary. For example, a word can have the same word can have different meanings. In this example, it'll be the word virus.
I think I have a virus.
This computer's got another virus.
I really love my bow tie.
I love football.
I love watching Scandal.
The reason that everybody loves something different is because symbols are ambiguous. That means the meanings are not very clear and fixed. Symbols can represent a variety of meanings, which is why everybody loves something different.
The third characteristic is that symbols are abstract. They are not concrete or tangible. The words are not the things themselves. So this is a phone, but the word phone is not actually a phone.
Guys, I'm sorry I'm late.
Guys, black people are always late. This was an example of a negative form of verbal communication called stereotyping. Later, upon self-reflection, I realized why what I said was wrong.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Symbols allow for us to define and evaluate the world, to organize our perceptions. It also allows for us to engage in self-reflection and project into our future, anticipating our behaviors and the behaviors of others.
In discussing the terms of the nature of language, language and culture reflects one another. The meanings of language are subjective. The reality that we experience, our social reality, is shaped and in turn is reinforced by the language that we choose.
This is how I grade my professor.
Good, how are you?
Doing good. This is how I grade my roommate. What's up, man?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm alright. Class is long. This is how I greet my best friend that I've known forever.
Hey, what are you doing, man?
I've been good. I'm glad to see you.
Language is rule guided by two rules: regulative rules, interaction by specifying who and how things happen and where they happen, and with whom certain things happen. Constitutive rules, how certain communications act or interpreted.
So an example of regulative rules is I have a set of personal information and I need to find out the right person to tell it to.
I like your thick accent, sounds pretty cool.
Constitutive rules define how certain communication acts are interpreted. So she just said she liked my hick voice. Would I interpret that as it was pretty cool, or did she just call me a hick?
All forms of communication other than the words themselves are considered nonverbal communication. For example, word inflection, body movements, and hand gestures.
So this past weekend I went out of town, and body language can convey a type of nonverbal communication. For example, Candace is falling asleep and she's telling us that she's not interested in my story.
Kinesics refers to the body position or body motion. Kinesics is all about engaging with another person.
Haptics is a sense of touch. For all these different elements of nonverbal communication that we're talking about, the relationship between the individuals and the context of the interaction becomes important. Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
We're friends, so that worked out. Hey, how are you doing?
Unhand me. We're not friends.
We're not friends, so that didn't work out. The third type of body language is proxemics. This is talking about the space and how we use it, or how close individuals stand next to each other. We're friends, so we're going to be very close to each other. We're not friends, so we're going to be pretty far apart.
We're also concerned with things like paralanguage, also called vocalics. This nonverbal communication includes things like volume, pitch, and inflection. Paralanguage helps us interpret language. It also helps us try to convey a particular meaning. Sarcasm relies a lot upon paralanguage.
Hey, nice job. My greasy grandma could do a better job than that.
Here are some forms of nonverbal behavior: repetition,
You need to get out of here.
accent,
I despise this class.
Compliment.
I'm listening to you.
So there are certain types of messages that are meant to regulate the behavior. Nonverbal behaviors can conflict with the verbal message. So when the verbal and nonverbal messages are conflict, we tend to interpret the nonverbal message as more reliable than the verbal message itself.
Hey man, it's great to see you.
Yeah, really great to see you too.
And finally, the nonverbal behaviors actually can be substituted for verbal messages. Nonverbal codes or behaviors are used instead of verbal messages. For example, rolling your eyes, or a thumbs up in agreement.
Nonverbal and verbal communications actually have a lot of similarities. They are both symbolic, both messages can be intentional or unintentional, and both are regulative versus constitutive rules, and both of them reflect culture.
But there are some differences. Nonverbal communication is perceived to be more believable. Nonverbal communication is also multi-channeled, and it's how we are saying it, it's our voice, and it's our body positioning.